We all have a poker face. You know, we all have this, I don't want to say ego, but that alternate, that surface personality we have to keep. You don't know what somebody's going through on the deep layers. My name is Chris Jones. A lot of people online know me as Beastmode Jones, and I am a personal trainer first and foremost, but I'm also a businessman. You know, I like to sell clothes and supplements and things like that. But if I were to die tomorrow, I want to be known as a personal trainer. Hopefully, one of the best personal trainers that ever lived, and did it naturally. Social media makes fitness very common now. And to be honest with you, it might look common online, but it's still not. You know, you can go to Walmart right now. On a busiest day, how many people can you count that are fit? Think about your town on a population scale. You know, out of maybe 1 million people in your town, what's the percentage of people actually in good shape? Just go to a gym, matter of fact, how many of those guys are in impressive shape? So don't let social media illusion fool you. It's not common to see people that are in really good shape and people that really train hard. Anybody who's new to this, try to make what you're doing, make it inviting, make it fun, and you can build your community that way. You know, people, when they get to the gym, they'll figure out the hard way is hard. You know, don't discourage them with the, who's natty or not talk and all that stuff. Just let them find out the hard way that this is hard. You know, make it look fun. And when you make it look fun, more people are gonna wanna get involved. I got into fitness to build confidence. To build confidence, just being real with you. Being short, if you ever been on a dating website, a lot of women cut off at 6 foot, just keep it at 100, We gotta stop ignoring these elephants in the room. If you wanna have a chance in this dating world, business world, whatever, don't dwell on the shit you can't control. Work hard on the shit you really have control over. So I always make sure my hygiene's on point, personality on point, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be fun to be around, keep your teeth clean, keep your teeth white, keep your body right, keep some money in your pocket. Work on the things you have absolute control over, and don't dwell and stress over things you can't change. You can potentially get depressed. That stuff's gonna weigh you down. Like gravity of the mind. And that's the stupidest thing, to let something weigh you down that you will absolutely never be able to change. So if I can give any advice, build confidence from working on the things you can actually fix. And then go from there. And anybody who ain't gonna accept you, then they're not for you anyway. Why on earth would you wanna be around people who ain't accepting you for you anyway? You see what I'm bringing, and if it's not enough for you, I will go where I'm celebrated, as they say. Go where you're celebrated. So yeah, just to build some confidence, and just try to be the best me I can be. My dad was it's funny, he was really into bodybuilding before I got really into it. And the moment I got serious is when he stopped. It's kind of funny, as I got serious, he kind of shot away from it, So I love watching Rocky movie. I've always had this idea in my head to keep myself in shape. It just didn't get serious for me until I say about the age of 20. And the reason being is because, long story short, man, I got into a little scuffle, at the age of 19. I got into a little scuffle and my jaw got cracked, right? And they had to wire my mouth shut for some weeks. And after the wires came out, dude, I was sucked up, skinny, And my daddy was like, look, I was really into calisthenics, doing push-ups in the garage, had a little dumbbells. So, I had a pretty good frame on me, but I lost all that, And he was like, man, just go lift some weights, I'll take you. So we went to the gym and my muscles were just, dude, it was almost, I'm not gonna say overnight, but drinking protein shakes for the first time, well, it wasn't the first time. My first time drinking a protein shake was at my mouth shut, To get protein in, they made me drink like Ensures, and I was trying protein powders to get more protein in, and it still didn't work. I was still dropping weight, you know what I mean? But still, so I started drinking protein shakes and, going to the gym, and I'm telling you, like, every month I'm just looking better, and they just put a fire in me that just never went out, So I'm not gonna say, it kind of happened by accident, I was out there acting a fool, getting into trouble, got into a scuffle, got humbled. Mouth got wired shut, and I saw myself physically decline. And I wanted to get myself back to where I was. I got back to where I was and beyond. And the rest is history, Anything you're new at and you want to get good at, dude, start watching more content of people doing that. Kind of like I started getting into yoga and more spirituality recently, and I noticed just watching more videos of that, it enhances my knowledge. Watch more training videos. Maybe hang around friends that are doing it. I know for a fact, if you're trying to train and you live with your parents or your brothers, and they're not into that, they're not gonna talk you out of it, but they're definitely not gonna be supportive. You know, it can get really lonely. You know, you gotta have friends that constantly wanna do activities that have nothing to do with fitness. You know, hey, we got happy hour Wednesday. On a Wednesday, right? You know, happy hour Wednesday. You spend too much time. Or the people say, oh, you look good enough. You know, you're gonna have those type of voices in your head. You need to get around more people that are like-minded, right? Maybe even somebody who's better than you that can kind of show you the ropes, kind of what me and Vince had going on. You know, the guy who put me on YouTube, you know, I was kind of showing him the ropes of fitness. Get around somebody who's already doing good at it and just tag along with him. You're gonna level up that way. And so just get around like-minded people, start watching more content on YouTube with people doing it. And I would say believable content. No disrespect to the Instagram community, but I'm saying a lot of these superhero workouts and, you know, it's cool, it's entertaining. But if you're new to the gym, you don't need to be jumping all over the place and throwing dumbbells in the air, you know. You need to do something to where you can progressively overload. Things you can track with progressive overloading principles, you know. It's really hard to progressively overload and track things that are really dynamic and these superhero workouts and stuff like that. So yeah, just pretty much get yourself more obsessed with it. If anything you get more obsessed with, you have no choice but to, you know, absorb the energy, you know. The best advice I can give to you is just get more involved in it, get more engaged with it, get more obsessed with it. Your free time, try to watch a video or two a day. Before you go hit some legs, go watch a leg workout video. You know, go make more friends that are doing this. That will help, trust me, that will help you tremendously. Nutrition needs to be something that you can stick with, point blank period. It has to be something you can stick with because that's the foundation. The foundation of your success is what you put in your body. You can't work a bad diet simply because thermodynamics, you know, those are universal laws. You cannot, you know, take in more energy than you're putting out and expect to drop body fat because body fat is simply just stored energy source. So you need to have a diet that not only you can stick with, but tastes good at the same time. You gotta have that happy medium, find that balance. So even though I'm not a keto guy, I believe it can work because some people like fats and proteins and they don't really care for the carbs. Me, I like everything. I like carbs, I like fats, I like protein. So I gotta have a diet that's based around that, that's gonna give me that balance. So my philosophy of nutrition, it's just like dogma of a religion. You really have to stick with a system that works for you. And that's gonna vary person to person. We all have different genetics. And I would say, you know, there's what they call epigenetics, where you can pass down traits genetically through your offspring. You know, you might like Italian food because simply it's in your blood. Especially if you're Italian, your mama has spaghetti, her mom before that, her mom before that. Dude, it might be in you just to love those, you know, starchy foods, you know? So you gotta keep that in mind too. Have a diet that you can stick with and that also tastes good at the same time and it will work wonders for you. Because trust and believe, if your diet is not on point, it's gonna reflect physically. You know, I know a lot of people, like, no disrespect to this guy, no disrespect, but that guy, Andy Ruiz, who beat Anthony Joshua, remember the upset. Dude, you look at his body, he was not in shape, you know, physically anyway. But dude, he had stamina and everything. You can really get in great shape and not lose any body fat. You know, you can really get good at the bench press and not lose body fat. You can get good at running and not lose body fat, you know, so keep that in mind. You know, you can get more effective at training and not look like it. If you want your body composition to be a certain way, you have to eat accordingly. So just guys, make sure your diet is balanced and make sure it's something you can stick with long term, preferably for life, and also taste good. Because if it doesn't taste good to you, you ain't sticking to it long term. You know, I can stick to a dog food type diet, dry, tasteless diet, if it's for a big purpose. Like I know I got a show coming up and it's only 4 weeks left type of deal. But if it's a lifestyle thing, you can't keep that up for long. You're gonna burn out eventually. Whatever motivation that's keeping you going is gonna burn out eventually. You know, so something you can stick with. I wholeheartedly believe if you're new to the gym and you may be a little overweight, don't start dieting and training all that same week. I say for the first 3 months or so, just work out. Don't even change your diet. Just fall in love with working out. I think too many changes overnight could really stress you out eternally. Overwhelm you too, especially if you got kids or you got work or you got lifestyle. Because trust me, like I said, the diet is your foundation. You're gonna notice as you change your diet, your life is gonna change. Almost like the solar system, how everything revolves around the sun. Everything kind of revolves around your diet. You're gonna notice when your diet's on point, your friends might even change. You're not gonna be at happy hour as often. You know, you might have to go to bed a little earlier to get up for legs. You know, stuff like that. You're gonna notice your lifestyle change. So I would say step one, maybe let's say no sodas. You know, maybe step two, food cooked. I can eat whatever I want, anything I want, even crap, but I gotta cook it. It's gonna build that habit of cooking your own meals. That way when the time comes to weigh your stuff out and all this, you're already used to cooking. I think the people don't realize how much energy it takes to go to the grocery. I didn't realize this until I stopped going. I started having my meals at the end, and then I started going back to cooking again. This is a lot of energy to go to the grocery store, man, picking the right fruits and stuff, you know? So step one, maybe eat whatever you want still, but start cooking your own food. You want spaghetti, cook it. You know what I mean? You want a piece of fine, but go get the piece that you put in the oven. Start getting in the habit of being in that kitchen. I think this generation now, we're so used to eating out. I think it's become normal now to eat out and not at home. You know, I've been seeing people online saying, man, you know how to cook? I mean, dude, know how to cook? Dude, people were back in the 90s, early 2000s, cooking was normal. Now, to see somebody cook in their 20s is like unheard of. It's almost like a unicorn walking around. So yeah, start cooking your own food. Even if it's spaghetti and meatballs, just get in the habit of being in that kitchen, cooking and getting your groceries. That's gonna help you tremendously. So when the diet do start, you're already in the kitchen anyway. You're already in the grocery store anyway. You're already primed and ready. And of course, start small, like maybe no fried foods. No soda. Why are you drinking sugary drinks anyway? You want some sugar, get some ice cream. You don't need to be drinking empty calories. You want something sweet, you know, go get some ice, something you gotta eat. I'd rather see you eat some candy than drink a soda. There's diet sodas, there's so many sweet drink options we have now. I personally feel like there's no excuse to drink a can of soda with 50 to 60 grams of sugar in it. Why are you putting that crap in your body? Man, I just have to say that is to be 100% honest with you. I feel like my goals doesn't require roids. You know, I'm realistic. You know what I mean? I'm one of those guys, for the most part, you don't gotta tell me, I'll tell myself. You know, I'm a realistic person. And I'm like, dude, I just wanna be in shape. I wanna train people. You don't have to be overly massive to do that. You know, some of my favorite, you know, I would say idols, you know, like people like Billy Blanks, you know, who made a lot of money in fitness, just being lean, athletic, you know, charismatic, doing the Tabo thing. Richard Simmons, which is what I would call a hippie guy. Dude, Richard Simmons made a killing doing the Sweating to the O's. My mom used to have those tapes at the house. You know, Jillian Michaels, do the Biggest Loser show, like the list goes on. So you don't really have to be super massive to make money in personal training. I personally bodybuild just for myself, not because I want to win trophies. I just love the discipline of bodybuilding. I've been in and out of trouble most of my young life. And I feel like the bodybuilding, it gave me the discipline. Like I said, with the whole diet thing, you've noticed when your diet's on point, you don't really have time to be out 12 o'clock at night because you know you got legs in the morning. You know, you don't have time to be out late on a fucking Sunday if you know you got legs, you know, because legs keeps you honest, you know, or you know you got a heavy back day coming, or you got a training partner and y'all both committed to being here after work every day, so you know you can't be messing around, your time's limited. It really keeps you disciplined. So I love it's like, in my opinion, like Buddhism, what anything else, it's literally a discipline. You know, so I always did it for myself. I didn't do it to try to make, if I of course want to be a pro bodybuilder and win trophies and things like that, of course I would not hesitate. I would get on the drugs, whatever it takes to be the size I need to be so I can stand next to who I need to stand next to and take them out. But me personally, like I always said, personal trainer first, bodybuilder second, and you do not have to be the most jacked guy on the planet. I'm telling you guys, go to Walmart 6 o'clock p.m. when it's packed. Dude, you're gonna be able to count maybe on one hand the people that are fit. Just go to a regular gym, not a hardcore one. Go to a regular gym, packed after work, 4 to 6 p.m. Dude, people are actually in the gym, and you can still count maybe on one hand the amount of people that are really impressive. So with that said, there are a lot of people under you, and they're gonna take advice from you regardless. Because believe it or not, the average person doesn't desire to be that big anyway. The average person doesn't desire to have arms that big or chest this big. They just wanna be able, some people are struggling to see their penis when they pee. Believe it or not, there are some seriously overweight people in this country alone. And dude, they're not even thinking of those extreme results. They're just trying to get to a point where they can just look in the mirror and like what they see. And trust me, if you are good with people, you know how to understand people, speak their language, you're gonna make a great living without having to have all that extra mass that you don't need. But yeah, like I said, I stayed natural because just simple as that, my goals don't require the drugs. But if they did, I probably would, if my goals required it. A foot up the ass. We need honesty. We need simple as that. That's why I don't like ignoring elephants in the room. If you're fat, we'll tell you you're fat. Look, I'm all about self-love and body positivity, but if you're overweight, you're overweight. You know, slow death is slow death. You know, I think just the lack of being able to have an opinion has crippled us tremendously. We're ignoring I can go on and on about the elephants in the room we're ignoring in this country, and it's starting to spread across the world now. But in this country alone, too many elephants are being ignored in the room that must be addressed. You know, we should not have that many overweight people. Heart disease, I believe, is the #1 killer. That's not good. You know, it's the things we're putting in our food. Look at some of these labels. You look at some of these labels when you go to the grocery store, some of these words you can't even pronounce. And your body got to download and digest and absorb that. You know, your body literally has a natural filtering, like a cheesecloth. It has a natural filtering process and absorbing process. Believe it or not, you're absorbing these colorings and all this crap you're putting in your body, all these pesticides they're putting on the fruits and vegetables. You know, you're absorbing all this excess sodium, grease, you know, all this nonsense, you know, and of course not being active, not working out, you know. A lot of people, believe it or not, are too stressed, you know. I think stress is a silent killer. We don't talk about it enough. We see when people meditating, and I believe that's why people run to food for comfort, because that food gives you a natural high. You know, there's other forms of dopamine hits you can get. You know, food, there's no better feeling watching a good movie on Netflix, a nice bowl of ice cream. I ain't gonna lie to you, I can do that all day. I'm here with you. That's like a natural high, almost like a drug. It gives your brain has a reward system. So I understand, but dude, you need somebody to come and say, hey, snap out of it, fatty. It is what it is. They get mad, bro. I would be really upset if I got to 250 one day and I had some kind of rude awakening, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, or deep reflection. And I'm like, damn, nobody told me I was fat. You know, I went from 190 to 250. Nobody cared enough to say, hey, you know, because sometimes you could be going through a spell and not even realize you're withering away because you're too stressed. You know, you're worried about what you're stressed about. You're not even worried about your reflection. You know, you can be going through a deep spell and not even realize you're falling off until it's too late, you know? And it would really hurt me to look back and say, nobody cared enough to say, Chris, you're okay? You know, you stopped going to the gym. You know, you gained a lot of weight. Are you bulking? Everything okay? You know, we're just letting people just do what they do. If you care about you, now I'm not gonna go to a complete stranger and tell them, hey, fatty, here's my card, come call me for training. No, but if somebody in my inner circle and I care about them, I'm at least, you know, say, hey man, you thought about going to the gym? You know, you gaining a little weight, you know? Is that something you're trying to do? Because some people, hey, maybe you're doing sumo wrestling. You know, ask some questions to make them think. People hate being attacked and told what to do. Because we're all adults here. You know, just ask them questions. Hey, you bulking or something? You know, say you're gaining a little weight, you know, you think about doing some sumo wrestling or whatever. Don't say sumo wrestling, he'll think you're an asshole. But seriously though, you know, check on your friends, man. Mental health is very serious. Stress is a silent killer. And I always say this all the time, poker is a game, but poker has been here long before the card game even existed. We all have a poker face. You know, we all have this, I don't want to say ego, but that surface personality we have to keep. You don't know what somebody's going through on the deep layers. If somebody's clearly were in shape this year, and then 3 years later, they're like sucked up skinny or overweight, something is going on in that person's mind. You gotta, check on them. It's okay, man. We gotta check on our people, man. I've been there, trust me. That's why I'm talking about this. I've been there. And I've been to the point where, I got a lot on my mind, and fitness and my appearance is not that important to me right now, because this other stuff is heavier in weight. Invisible weight anyway, abstract weight. These emotions are heavier than the emotion of wanting to go to the gym. And when that happens, when you have stressful emotions weighing you down, it can take over your life. It can literally sink you. Now you're vibrating low spiritually and you're in a dark place. And check on your friends, man. A long story short, I used to be in and out of trouble most of my young years. I actually did time. I was a wild young man. You know, that's actually how I got into personal training. When you got a felony in your record, it's really hard to get a good job. And not that I have a huge ego or nothing like that, but I just feel like, dude, I got too much to offer to not be able to have a job that can give me the lifestyle that I really want. You know, so I feel like some kind of self-entrepreneurship was my route. I was kind of forced into that, you know what I mean? So personal training, I looked good, I know how to train, I know people. You know, I think being locked up helped with that because believe it or not, you're gonna have conversations with types of men you would never come across. I mean, I've had dinner and conversations with men I would probably never met out here. Because out here, we tend to do our own thing. You know, so I remember I have a real good skill for reading people. You know, so I feel like personal training, I look the part, this is my thing. The point I'm trying to make is this. I learned the most being locked up. I think the first time I read a book from front to back, really, I hate to admit it, was being locked up. Because, you know, I didn't take school very seriously, unfortunately. You know what I mean? I was able to sit still and get lost in a book. Even though you're physically here, your mind is somewhere else, you know, going on a journey. And long story short, when 2020 hit, a lot of the gyms closed. And a good chunk of my income is online coaching. So I did the honorable thing, in my opinion. I just froze a lot of people's accounts. I didn't try to sell them on some, hey, I can get you ripped at home, you know, get you some water bottles and beds, and let's keep this rolling. I just, look, let's just freeze your guys' accounts until gyms open back up, right? So now I got all this time to do nothing. I think that's when it hit me, bro. My, your mind, it's called a sound mind, right? You know what, and what does that mean, right? That inner voice. You know, we have our internal world, right? And then you have the external world. Everything works the same. We literally come from the earth. Notice oxygen flows through the earth. Oxygen flows through us. Earth has a core, we have a core. Everything, and they say in the Kabbalah, as above, so below. Notice when we're watching TV, we're on the television, right? We look in the sky, telescope. They say energy can't be created nor destroyed because energy is constantly moving in form. So we're just a different form of stars. We're all atoms, right? So I'm sitting still, bro. I'm having all these crazy voices in my head. I guess because I'm not busy. Yeah, I'm not really a religious guy, but there's an old saying that goes, idle time is the devil's playground. I had all this idle time, and now I got these demonic, dark voices in my head telling me I'm worthless, I'm nothing, and this and that, I don't deserve this. That's a whole other, man, I can go on and on. I'm just really going through it. And not to mention, I got involved with psychedelics, and I think that's what did it. I tried psychedelics because, again, idle time, I had all this free time. And my buddies were like, yeah, man, some buddies I was cool with, like, yeah, we trying psychedelics. I was like, let me try it too. I got nothing else. I had literally nothing going on. You know, I'm waiting for gyms to open back up. And I believe that's what opened the gates of my mind. And when it opened the gates of my mind, bro, I went on a spiritual, and let me tell you what made me try it out. Joe Rogan's podcast. This is why influence. Now I'm understanding why I don't agree with it, but now I understand why people give their opinion and it's not necessarily, people don't agree with it. People want to bash the person or counsel a person because people with a lot of influence can influence others. You know, I wasn't even thinking about things like DMT or shrooms and none of that stuff until I saw Mike Tyson's podcast. You know, until I saw Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm a grown ass man and I was influenced. Could you imagine a teenager? Now I'm understanding why maybe a teenager might want to try roids. You know, somebody they look up to might try them and they seem to be having it all together. Like, man, maybe roids is my answer, right? Same with me. I'm like, man, well, Mike Tyson used to bite ears, been in prison, and he seems to be chill now. He says he tried these psychedelics, maybe this will help me. You know, same with Joe Rogan. Yeah, man, I read some studies that, you know, psychedelics could cure this. And I'm like, man, maybe I should try it. And that's what happened, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, it did. The shit worked, but I had to go through hell to get to that point. Because what it does is all the eternal demons you're holding in, it comes out and you gotta face them. You can't hide them no more, you know? And that's what I did. You know, I had to get them demons out of me. And once I did, man, life has been, dude, I feel, this is probably the best I felt in a very long time, mentally, everything. You know, so yeah, I believe now I'm starting to understand people like to stay busy. Cause notice, like I said, the first time I ever read a book from front to back was being locked up. Well, I wasn't locked up in jail, but I was locked up at home. Now I'm sitting still again. I believe time of being to yourself is when you have the best deep reflections. But think about it, when did the average person have that kind of free time? The average person gotta work, you know what I mean, and take care of the children and things like that. You know, I'm one of the lucky ones who were able to have that time of deep reflection. If you look at a lot of these, you know, past philosophers and prophets and stuff, they've all had a period of isolation. Notice Jesus had the 40 days to himself. You know, even Buddha, he had that deep meditation for an extended period of time. I believe that's the cheat code, man. That time isolated to yourself. But though, some people can't handle the voices in their head, which is why they gotta stay busy. If I can give my advice to anybody looking to rid themselves of some deep insecurities and demons they're dealing with, meditation, bro. I'm not gonna request psychedelics and all that stuff. I mean, if people do it, that's on them. But that deep meditation, try to meditate at least 3 times a week, man. Maybe 20, 30 minutes. And man, just work through your problems. Because like I said, with the whole, you know, going from being in shape to being overweight, there's a reason for that. You could say I'm just busy, but there's a reason. There's something in your mind that has changed. And you know, hopefully you can address it before it's too late. That's just a warning sign. Anytime your physical appearance make a dramatic change like that, something changes in your mind. That's just a reflection that's manifested and revealed to everybody else. But you know what it is. You know, you need to address that immediately. And thank God I did, man. The 2020 was a great year. Well, it started out, it was rough, but it got me through it. You know, I believe sometimes you gotta go through the fire, you know, to get molded. You're like clay, you know, they mold the clay, then they put that heat on it. You know, that's exactly what I went through, man. I went through it too, man. I had a lot of built up demons that I never addressed. A lot of built up frustrations I never addressed because YouTube kept me busy. You know, when I started doing YouTube, bro, I was only home less than a year. You know, so I get out and my life has dramatically changed like that. And instead of working on myself, you know, working things out, people I got problems with, I'm focused on getting views. You know, I'm focused on this, I'm focused on that, I'm focused on trying to stay relevant on social media, not really working on my mental health. You know, so when I finally had time to sit still, after I guess 2020, I started YouTube 2012, after 8 years of nonstop, you know, going to expos, doing videos, stuff like that, I finally had time to just kind of sit still in my thoughts. After 8 years, everything just hit me like a sonic boom. You know, notice how a sonic boom, the plane passes by and then you hear it. That's kind of how it did me. You know, I've been kind of, you know, running from my problems. They were already back there. And when I finally sat still, bam, you know, and I was going through it, man. But everything's fine now. And I'm actually considering doing some books too about the experience. 'Cause I feel like there's a lot of suicides and things going on, and those thoughts crossed my mind. And I wanted to write what I did to help work through those things. Hopefully help some people out. That would really make me one of the happiest guys in the world. You know, it feels good to, people tell me all the time, you know, you helped me with my fitness, this and that. You showed me going to Walmart, getting your supplements, you know. That would really make me feel good if somebody tell me, man, I was going through it mentally, man, after you helped me free my mind. I see life differently now. You know, I have my heart's less heavy. My mind is more, man, that would really make me happy. So I'm gonna start working on that pretty soon. People can follow me on Instagram at Beastmode Jones, YouTube at Beastmode Jones. And right now, man, I'm working on some new programs. You know, I like, you know, getting people in shape. And like I said, in the future, I wanna write a book, man. The Book of Beast Mode. You know, I really want to help some people really open their minds and help with their mental health, man. I think that has been overlooked far too long. And like I said, I don't believe there's no coincidence that we're seeing a lot of suicides, we're seeing a lot of stress, we're seeing a lot of people overweight. People are suffering in silence. Obviously I can't save the world, right? But I would like to do my part to somewhat make the world a better place. At least my world anyway. Man, cause I swear, man, I wish as I was coming up, I could have met a guy like me. You know, not trying to pump myself up or nothing like that, but I never had a big brother. You know, I wish I had like a big brother who kind of made mistakes and was like, yo man, don't do this, I'm gonna show you how it's done. You know, I feel like my parents did the best they could, but they didn't grow up in my generation. They didn't grow up with the kind of music and influence and the movies they had, you know? So now I'm starting to realize, man, the world has a lot more influence on us than we think. You know, the world has a lot more influence on it. I'm starting to think back the first time I saw a Michael Jackson video. I'm not gonna say these musicians' names, but some of them are doing things that they don't realize what they're putting in, the seeds they're planting in some of these generations' heads. And I'm not even get on the social media. Some people think now they can just post videos and be rich overnight because they'll look at the 1%ers. You know, so we're gonna have a lot of people hurting in the future when they have their rude awakening. I believe your rude awakening happens a lot when that expectation and that reality comes together and it's not what you thought and you realize you gave up too much. That's when the regret starts to kick in too. There's a lot that goes into the, because like I said, we can't physically see, but when you really open your heart up and you open up to the emotions you're feeling, you understand exactly why you're going through things. I think we're just too prideful and we don't want to admit why. And we're afraid of being judged. And again, I'm not religious, but they say pride is destruction, and I'm starting to see that more than ever, bro. Me personally, like, if I need help, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna try to figure it out myself. You know, well, I probably should just ask somebody who already, but it'll make me feel like less of a man. I gotta work on that, you know? Or admitting, hey man, what you said to me kind of rubbed me the wrong way. This is why. It'll make you feel like a, you know, less of a man. It makes you feel kind of beta. But we need to stop thinking like that because I believe that's what's really hurting us. They're these silent killers, you know? It is what it is. But yeah, that's what I gotta say.